Oh my God, I literally just absolutely smacked my coccyx out. I actually feel a bit sick. Oh, all right, well, hello and welcome back to my channel. I've just been a bit here, there and everywhere, but I'm still wanting to keep up with content. And we will very soon be starting the countdown to Nats, which is crazy. So I'm just going to do a bit of a shorter video today because I've had loads of messages on Instagram recently about my warm-ups and how to actually get prepared for getting under the barbell. If you follow me on Instagram, I've got loads of content about the actual warm-up sets themselves because it is the most crucial thing for making sure that we can achieve what we want to get out of that session. But in terms of like actual movements, mobility work, etc., I just wanted to take you through what that actually looks like. So obviously it's a bit different for each exercise. So my squat, my deadlift and my bench warm-ups all look very different because they're completely different movement pattern and we're utilizing different muscle groups. But I'm doing my secondary squat session, so it's actually a relatively chill day. So I thought I would just take a bit more time to actually walk you through what my warm-up looks like, what we do with each exercise, and how I get prepared to get under the barbell. First thing is actually just getting your body warm. I'm not gonna lie, I walked to the gym today, so I've already done a 20-minute walk. When I have less time, I don't. But when I was in like I've got loads of time to train era, I would do like a good 10-minute walk on the treadmill. So do try and just get a bit of blood flow pumping before. Obviously in the heat, it's a little bit easier to do, but definitely in the winter, keep that body warm. Then we just get onto some general priming and then movement pattern specific work as well. So that's where we do little bits of like activation, get the actual muscles that are involved nice and warm and targeted. And then we do some squat specific movement as well. So the first thing that I do is, it's called world greatest stretch. It's not just me being biased. It is actually called this. We put one leg in front, we feed the arm through the same arm as the working leg, and then we twist upwards. And this is basically a really nice way of opening up the hips and your thoracic region, so that mid back. I do low bar, so you want to get that nice and primed as well. So about 5 of these on each side. Now I don't always do this, so it definitely prioritize this when I'm doing my bench. But I'm going to do some cat-cow because my back is exceptionally tight today. I just want to get really warmed up through both the thoracic and the lumbar, so that upper and lower back basically. And again, I'll do like 5 to 6 of these, but I'll really take my time pushing into each section. So here for bench, I would really prioritize like pushing through my scapula, get that warmed up. But today, I'm literally just going to move on through it. Cool. And then again, on the priming mobility side of things, I'm going to do 90-90 switches. So basically what you're going to do is stagger your legs. You want to put, I don't know how well you're actually going to be able to see this, but you want to aim for about a 90-degree angle with both your front and back legs. So the easiest way is to start like this and twist into it. Basically what you're trying to create is this standard leg, right? So you're going to start here. What we're going to do to begin with is you're going to lean back on your hands so that we've got a little bit more room to work with. And you're literally just going to push through these and switch side to side. So I will do about 8 to 10 of these to make it slightly harder when I do this. And then what you can do is sit up. Now this is going to require a lot more mobility and stability through the hips themselves, but you want to try and stay as upright and as still as you possibly can through your torso. And you're just going to through your hips work this. Again, we're just going to go side to side. You want to try and bring your knee right the way down if you can and maintain that 90-90 position each side. You don't have to do this bit. I personally do because I've always had issues with my hips and recently had an injury with my SIJ. I struggle with sciatica, so I kind of just go above and beyond getting these hips and sort of surrounding stability, glute muscles nice and warm as well. So I will just do a bit of internal and external rotation. So keeping my knee on the floor, trying to keep my hip as still as possible and as upright as I can. I will just bring this heel off the floor and try to twist it away from my body. That's just going to fire up my glute med and, as I say, those stability muscles as well. So I'll do about 8 to 10 of those. And then we're going to flip the other way, keeping your foot on the floor, and this time now lifting your knee. Again, just working those similar muscle groups just to help me stabilize. And then I'll switch, literally just do on the other side. That's just some of my basic priming. I'll do some banded work in a second as well. I'm just going to focus on this lower body. So now they're actually mobile. You don't want to start off with stretching while you're cold. You want to get nice and warm first, get that blood flowing, and then stretch out a little bit. Now, as I say, I'm really tight around my glutes and my hips. So I'm just going to go onto the bench and I'm going to do some elevated pigeon stretch and your couch stretch as well. Right, elevated pigeon stretch. We're going to pop your foot and try and get this half of your leg on the bench. And then basically what we're going to do is just try and square off the hips. You want to try and get your hips facing directly forwards and then push into that glute. If you can get low down, brilliant. If you can't, lots of people struggle with this, don't worry. I have a dance background, so I've got a little bit more flexibility. But yeah, we just want to really stretch out that glute. 20 seconds on each leg. I don't go overboard with this because I'm not doing this as a cool down. I'm literally just trying to loosen up a little bit. Cool. And then, as I said, I've got really tight hips. So I'm doing this on the bench just because you can get a bit of elevation. But what you're going to do, you can do this on the floor flat as well, but the couch stretch is specifically an elevated back foot. So what you can do is find something where you can do this. You can do it against a box, a bench, anything like that, bed, whatever. Pop the back of your foot on the bench, on the elevation, knee on the bench itself. Use this leg to stabilize. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rotate your pelvis forward. So you're going to do a bit of like a thrust. So you're going to rotate. You should already probably feel a bit of a stretch through your quad. And then push into it. And you're going to feel the stretch all the way up here. And we're going to hit those hips a little bit as well. We're going to tuck, rotate, and then push forwards. So now what we're going to do is some of that activation work we talked about. Now, because I do low bar, and I really want to make sure I'm priming that posterior, I do what's called 90-90 holds. So this is just going to hit your hammies and get those nice and warm. So we can push through those when we're doing our squats. So again, 90-degree position we're aiming for with the legs. What you want to do is just have your heels on the bench. So you can adjust if you need to, literally lie flat, relax. What you're going to do is put pressure into those heels and you're going to push up to get your bump off. And then what we want to do is this really aggressive rotation of the pelvis, and that should really fire up those hammies. And then what you're just going to do is some nice deep diaphragmatic breathing, get that core stabilized. Again, I'll hold this for like 15 seconds, drop, and I'll do this for like 2 to 3 times. I like to get my adductors fired up. So we're going to do Copenhagen holds. This is just going to get in here, which again, for low bar or any squat, really, you want to make sure that you are utilizing. So what we're going to do, on your elbow, again, you want to have sort of your ankle, maybe a bit of your calf on the bench. What you're going to do is push up, lift this front leg. If this feels like it's putting loads of pressure on your knee, you can do what's called a short lever Copenhagen, which is basically where you just put your knee on it and it just shortens the lever. You can get slightly less engagement, but it's a nice way to ease yourself into the movement. So again, I'll do this for 15 seconds at a side. The angle's not great at the moment. My big tripod is broken, so you're just on my little handheld one. So you're quite low to the floor. But the next thing we're going to do is get these shoulders and joints primed in the upper body. Like I say, low bar. We have to sit into quite a strict position, so we want to make sure that the upper body is nice and warm. We're not going to get any irritation in like our shoulders, rotator cuffs, etc. So I just start out with some banded distica. It's quite a light band. And all we're going to do is keep those arms straight. We're literally just going to rotate forwards and backwards, keeping those shoulder blades down, nice posture, just moving through that full range of motion. What I also do is like I don't actually know the name for this. It's like a rotated version, but we basically just bias one side. So we take it slightly higher, just get a bit more movement through each side as well. And then what I do is pull apart. So this is really going to target our scap. So we get a nice pinned position. All you're going to do again, shoulder blades down, relatively straight, arms. You're just going to use your scap to pull the band apart, like so. Pull, pull. And then the last thing that I do is I actually then attach the band to the squat rack like this. So we just loop it through, gives you a little handle. And then what I do is rotations. We're going to do an external rotation. So again, we're going to keep this arm, elbow glued to our side. Nice posture. We're going to try and avoid this hunching. Keep it pulled back. And all we're going to then focus on doing is isolating that shoulder, those rear delts, that rotator cuff, to pull the band away from you. Do that about 8 to 10 each side. So do some basic face pulls again, just to get slightly higher. And then I get that nice 90-degree position with my arms. Only want to try and then just rotate like that. So you can see with that, we get the shoulders nice and warmed up through pretty much every plane of motion. Oh. Yeah, those rear delts feel nice and fired, which is exactly what we want. Upper body's nice and primed, lower body is nice and warm. All we're now going to do is open up those hips a touch more. So just grab either a plate or a kettlebell. We just want to get those hips a little bit warmer, open them up so we can get into that squat position, then some basic squat priming, and that's us done. Now, again, these are just my go-to staples. So this will differ a little bit depending on like what needs maybe some extra attention. So certain weeks, certain muscle groups might be a little bit tighter and just need a bit more time spent on them. Others, I might be working on some specifics in the actual movement pattern itself. So like rather than just like a generic squat, we might be focused on tempo, pauses, whatever. So maybe my brace needs a bit more work. So I would then maybe do a little bit of extra core work, anything like that really. Just to sort of target what we need. So these are kind of like my day-to-day staples. Like I said, this is a very chilled session, so I'm kind of not going overboard. I'm not really thinking about it too much. But yeah, if there was anything else that was needed, I would add those in. So those are my like weighted hip openers. Like I say, you can use kettlebell, plate, dumbbell, whatever you've got access to. I usually do about 5 or 6 each side. The last thing that I'm going to do is then a deep squat hold. Do this weighted to make it much easier. You can literally just hold onto the squat rack and sit yourself up that way. And then all I do is just some weighted like goblet squat, bodyweight squat vibes, just to actually get some squats under my belt. And then that's us done. We're going to get under the barbell. So I hope that makes sense. I actually might do a separate video. I just want to keep this nice and short. I'm going to do a separate video on how to actually... Ooh, yeah, I'm nice and warm. How to actually get little warm-up sets planned to get the most out of your session. So for example, making sure that we are taking sensible jumps, how to actually approach planning the jumps and not just doing like 10 kilo, 5 kilo jumps to your top set. We want to be efficient. So I'll do a separate video on that, I think. Just some basic filler content, but will be really helpful and hopefully will just give you guys a bit more insight as to what happens within my training. But if there's anything else like this that you want to see, let me know. I hope this is helpful. Like, save, subscribe, etc. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Short and sweet.